Sports broadcast. Today, we're going to be watching our Overwatch team take on East Tennessee State University in the NECC, one of the lower divisions. I believe this is the Challenger division. Definitely want to see them help turn it around. I've been working a little bit with the team myself. I'm hoping that we will see some strides made. 3 maps tonight, as always. We see 3 maps done, 4 map score, and just general record moving forward. But the maps tonight will be Nepal, Numbani, and Dorado, starting with Nepal tonight. And we'll see how these teams select their compositions. Now, we know that this level of play, the pickups, the comps the teams run can be very variable, ranging anywhere from, we see Brawl, we see Double Bubble, we see Dive, we see not a lot of Wrecking Ball, which I know some teams have some players, it might surprise you if you watch a lot of streams. Ball is, of course, very strong pickup, but don't expect to see too much of him, and we'll load into this one. Standard Brawl, it looks like, locked in by ETSU, other than the addition of a Symmetra. And SNHU are running something a little different. The Rhino Orisa off tank with Mei Sim. This is, I think, pretty clearly one of those point stacking style compositions. Definitely expect to see that type of gameplay being brought to the table by them here. We'll find out more, of course, as we roll out and actually get into the game. See how far they go in. Left side rollout for their members here, and we'll see what they do. Teleporter already preset. Looks like the teams will probably be matching into each other, but SNHU is just a little bit faster. They didn't use the TP on the side of East Tennessee State, so they're going to make it to this point. They're going to have them locked out a little bit early, getting some free damage on the shield through the wall. Smart heads-up play by Osiren. Will they match that natural cover on that side of the wall? A little bit low, but Moira healing can help them out here. The Rhine shield getting so low. This could be the chance to go on, but they lose Desi from that split angle. Trying to keep up this damage. They might have to back up for the bait. There comes the counter pin with the bubble. Rhine knocked so low still. Winner of that trade will be ETSU. The members have to back up. Flashbang helps them clean up on Osiren as the McCree gets both of those kills. 3 of those kills. Prince falling as well. There goes the wipe for SNHU. They did get 13% on this objective. But now the next move will come in here from them as they look to set up to move in. Window and Shatter up for the members of ETSU. We'll see if they match them directly. They're still playing on this point area. They're starting to walk in, it looks like. SNHU coming in through this middle door, clearing out this space. Taking this high ground, looking for a position to engage from. They have to know the ults that they have. It's hard to tell that they have window, but they'll play this poke game and maybe use that teleporter to engage aggressively and find someone. Would definitely like to see Prince spamming here a little bit, but they'll drop down, they'll play their shield, look at this early damage, they'll play off this Colt, but they get grabbed here. Pepto picks up 2 kills, though, both supports down, no healing now for ETSU, but a massive shatter from Spunk. They can't follow up on it, though. All the kills going the way of SNHU. Members are low, but that's a lot of ult charge for Frag. If they just give it to him, they will kill this Zarya afterwards, and Frag will get 40% back on that Cold that they just spent as the team shifts up top. Both of their shields here looking out for their movement. Teleporter up front to help with that quick rotation back to point. Just got to keep their eyes out for where they're going to be moving in from. They look like they want to go up top, but maybe it was a fake. They run right past their teleporter to maybe go main. Pepto waiting for the information call. They get it. Plan comes in. They will rotate to match them immediately. Already in their face. They get walled off. The bongo gets dropped down, and that'll be a lot of extra damage. That wall doesn't really end up splitting the team, though. We could see them push maybe into this McCree. Looks like they want to take that. I like this aggressive play, and it will pay off for them as now the repush comes in. The sim wall on the side of SNHU. They'll kill those turrets. Won't be able to push too much further out of it. Maybe a little bit of a split here, though. I like this flank by Pepto. They have the wall to hold them in here. Pull gets them low, but doesn't help them finish anything off. The Coalescence maybe signals the push in for them, but they're still playing it a little bit slowly. They find someone isolated. It was that Symmetra. She did get the help near the end. Here comes the Earth Shatter. Members are low, but the beat from Prince keeps them alive for a moment longer. 1 for 1 now. 5 against 5. Ultimate-wise, only the Shatter for SNHU to really hang their hat on right now. Maybe they can get a pick here. Fragnar, I like this flanking play by him, and Osiren is able to clean up on Zach. Now the push comes in. Damage, or no, they do hold back again. Thought that would be a moment for aggression, but they're playing their corner. They're playing the time. It is 90% left here and not a ton of ultimates available for East Tennessee State, or at least not ones that really matter. Maybe Rhino goes for this Earth Shatter soon, but Desi's playing up top. I like this off angle. Will he block off the Shatter? Great wall by Desi, but they still get in anyway. Rhino looks for the Shatter. Does he hit the shield? He does. Great block by Spunk. That ultimate, unfortunately, gets spent in the way they didn't want to. SNHU, they're one fight away from winning, but East Tennessee State, they have that sim wall on that window soon. And some of their members are getting a little bit staggered here. As SNHU get ready to come back in, I think beating out this grab is going to be the most important choice here. We'll see where they decide to go. They're looking to come top right, away from them playing on that high ground as they make space in. This already doesn't have grab yet, but they have to move quick if they want to take advantage of that fact. What else are they close to here? Supercharger and Blizzard. And the sim wall, of course, will be the first one up, but I'm looking more for the ults that can really affect and impact the fight as it goes. They have to be so careful, though, fighting into this. I feel they don't want to get burned down. This is last fight territory now. There goes the TP on point in the middle of them and walled off. Getting some early damage Tim wall there as well. Here's the bongo, but they need to get damage off of the bongo, but there's a window on the other side, so they can't really aggressively peek that. There's the grab. They can't shield it either. The fight taken at the worst possible time by them. As the shatter comes in from Spunk as well. It's a Blizzard. It's only Fragnar alive. I'm not sure if he can still contest it. No, it is Prince alive as well, but McCree managed to stay unstunned as they're swapping to their stall classes here. I don't think Osiren and Pepto will be able to make it with Fragnar going down in this first map. Will go the way of East Tennessee State. Still two more, though, on the side of the map, of course. This map of the 3 from Nepal overall. SNHU still have a chance here on these next 2 stages. It will be Shrine next. Minor swap-ups here. Obviously, that same composition not going to work on this map, more than likely, but we will still see that Symmetra, dropping that Orisa for the Zarya, dropping the Moira for the Baptiste. And Doomfist joins the fray. A solid point for him. Love to see how SNHU will be able to apply this. Things will stay the same for East Tennessee State. Clearly something they've practiced, and something they are quite comfortable with. Here comes the TP, catching up with Desi, who used that Seismic Slam to cross that gap a little bit early. Holding on to their speeds and damage here. Frag keeping the team up, but they're holding this corner, not looking for too much pressure yet. Frag takes an early hit. But East Tennessee State are rotating. The health is rough for Desi. He manages to survive for now. Frag now already halfway to his window, as is Snoozy on the other side. Where is this engagement going to come from, though? Neither team really finding it. Desi's the one to find the first strike, and the drone ends up falling as well. They don't stay Rhino, but Spock already has his Shatter charged. It kills 3 of them. He was just getting perfect damage on the point. That completely swings that fight. Those fire strikes must have been absolutely obscene from Spunk there, and that really catches the members of SNHU off guard. They settle to decide where they want to go. Will it be top right? Will it be under? Top right will be the play to avoid that early spam. Looks like they have an inkling that's the direction, but they can shield themselves in. There's not a lot of high ground control on the side of Etsu. Here, what is the game plan for them? They have window, that could be part of it. The window is used on the other side first. They get forced back. Desi gets picked off by that window. Fire strike, and now they're kind of stalling. They need to strike back, but that might be one way to do it. Drone to stall things out in the ground, but there's still a lot of damage. Sim wall maybe keeps them alive for a moment longer, but they have to find another kill. The kills are going the other way instead. 4 versus 4 now, though. Things do get evened up as Osiren gets some damage onto the point. Here comes a bit of an engagement. Here, Simbu not charged up as high as I'm sure he wants it to be, and Rhino goes down stuck in the open. Not able to play that bit of cover. They trade out that Lucio, but for the Rhine, but it's still a really hard fight to win. Osiren is keeping it possible for them, but if this fight is messy, if this fight continues, that's still time that continues to rack up for the members of ETSU. Desi respawning might be able to find someone on that cross, but he doesn't end up staying engaged here. Grab, shatter, beat, and window all here. Where is the combo with it? It's just going to be the sim spam and the fire strike. Neither of it ends up getting anything. High Noon also doesn't find anything thanks to the drone. Wasn't able to pull the trigger barely for that, but pushed in. Solo shatter. It looks like no 5-man shatter across all of them actually on that offensive play. Spunk with a massive one again. SNHU are just true. They're not ready for Spunk's Reinhardt play. It has been completely catching them off guard, and now they remain with only 10% left to make it back into this objective. Definitely expect some swaps here. Osiren wanted to go something a little bit faster, and now SNHU have double MT for this. Here comes the Meteor Strike. from the Doom Fist. It knocks them back, but doesn't finish off anything. Huge shatter from Rhino. Where's the follow-up? Not able to be there because of that drone. They get that one, but the backfire strike, the window, takes down both supports, and the rest of SNHU fall. The damage from them was insane. The setups from ETSU, great on Nepal from start to finish, and now they do close out that map for themselves with a dominating performance on Shrine. Great play by them. I think the way that they played around Spunk in particular is very well set up. That is kind of what that competition wants to do when you're playing that Ryan Zari there. You can see that massive shatter into the grav. They maybe could have been able to clean on, but a quintuple kill seals the deal against them. ETSU keep that locked down. Tough first map, I would say, for the boys at SNHU. I think they had some great potential on that initial stage on Village, where they played that point, the way they played the rotations. Timing of the fight, though, a little bit tough for them near the very end, and when that final fight went against them, obviously, 99% can't really make up that ground there. We do have another map coming up for you. I might take a little bit to get there, Numbani or Dorado. We will see which one is going to be coming up next on the other side of this break. Welcome back in, everybody. Map number 2 will be starting now. Numbani is the battlefield for this map, and we'll see if anything changes up. Obviously, not as solid of a Rhine map, so ETSU might be changing up their strategy, and I'm sure SNHU will be as well. It is a map, though, that I think can kind of lend itself to snowballs sometimes, where one team can find some momentum and really stick with it, so that could happen. Depending on the severity of that lost fight at the very beginning, we will have one more second to see what comps we'll be rolling out with. It looks like it will be a Ryan composition from ETSU. They are going to be on defense, so that could work for them, depending on their backlines and where they position. There's still one player unselected, and the only change, they're sticking with one comp. They're sticking with their bread and butter. The only change is Sketched, shifting over to that May instead of that Symmetra from what we saw earlier. SNHU have taken a pretty different look. It's a double bubble composition with a with a Mercy and a Baptiste, backed with a Pharah and a Tracer. So a much more mobile composition with some solid projectile poke. Let's see how it works out for them to attack this first point. I definitely think having that verticality is pretty big on the first point. ETSU will lack that. So if they get forced to drop down, if they get forced to play that objective, things will be a little bit more difficult for them. But they are hard stacking in this top left door. Playing together. Not a single member split. Now one person does go back a little bit. The McCree trying to check their members here, and they'll start getting some cap time. SNHU now jumping to take this top right area, but they're finding out that, hey, no one's here. We'll see how they adapt to it. Maybe they shift to the other side, but McCree actually manages to take them down as they get contested over here. Rhino still playing up top. Might have to bubble to keep himself alive. He does. Solid positioning, though. I think I want to see a little more bloodthirst, maybe to help harass that backline. He sees the Lucio now on the other side. Lucio hard diving this Pharmacy. It's an interesting one so far. Can they split and help each other? Siren and Rhino combined to take down that McCree. That is an initial pick. The players in main have to be careful, but they can start capping. How far back will they go? They won't be able to stay alive, but maybe we can trade out some kills. One tick goes the way of SNHU, and Desi now rotating back in, forces the May into the cryo freeze. They stay alive. May takes a lot of damage. Does go down. Desi is playing up here with that McCree dead. He really has a lot of free reign. Maybe finds the Baptiste as well. He is so low, but uses the regenerative burst to keep himself up, and they stand tall on that point. Numbers are up top. Can they focus on somebody? High Noon used on the objective, and a boop dive on them up top. Difficult for them to properly deal with here. Lucio is zoning out Rhino for now, but he should be able to get healed from main. He'll retreat. A bit of a high jump, but the bubble will save him, and he'll give his Mercy some extra healing here. Here comes the Ashe on the repush. They're double hit scan now, actually, to deal with this. I want to see how SNHU choose to adapt. With 2 minutes remaining and a couple ults. A Valk maybe to support an aggressive push between their flankers could work fairly well here, but we'll see what they choose to use instead. Now Pepto and Fragnar are matching up into them. Is this a bit of a bait? With them holding around this corner, the Monkey takes that space on the right, but they lose Osiren fairly early to that passive McCree play. Comes that push from them, though. Pepto taken down immediately. Fragnar is going to have to retreat as Lucio, I think, was diving on him. Yeah, there he is. Now shifting away. Rhino falls also on this first point push. Some early damage, but not enough to confirm anything. Close to some ultimates now, though. There are some, of course, on the other side. High Noon got spent earlier. Neither Zarya close to grab. It's a difficult point to charge grab on, depending on the composition that you run. We'll see how they choose to, how they find a way to get in here. I think I wouldn't be shocked to see maybe a Pulse Bomb engage, a dive with Osiren combining with Rhino. Rhino actually does land in the middle of them. He's distracted. Can he get out? It looks like they might have shattered nothing. A good block by him, but they lose two because Fragnar got dove in the back. Here comes several ultimates from them, but nothing really gained from it as now they've forced the members down to the objective. This Rhine getting some damage. Pepto fairly low, but they stick the Rhine and they guarantee that kill. No way to really res it. This McCree getting dueled. Great movement by Osiren. If they can kill this McCree, it's huge. He didn't get the beat, but he just runs away. Good positioning by him. Osiren now stuck in the window looking for this Ashe. Can anybody help him out? No, not with the respawns that they have. 35 seconds left. This will be the last fight for this no matter what, but they have Grav, Primal, and Barrage to make it happen. This Grav Barrage combo could be great, especially if Rhino finds himself onto that Grav to bubble it to help him out. This hard top left stack has been very difficult for SNHU to break. Let's see what they decide to do. They are playing on that low ground. Desi maybe in position. Pepto might be looking for a grab. They end up walking straight to the point. And now Rhino splits them near the end. There he is up top on them, but they're stacking on the point. Barrage used early before the grab, but they get one with it. But the Fragnar are getting completely zoned out by Spunk. The res came in on Desi. It's a 5 versus 5. Here's the High Noon. How big can it be? It's still on the point. It finds Rhino 3 down from the members on SNHU, and I don't think anyone is really close enough to the point to make it. Pepto swaps. He won't be able to roll all the way back in time. Frag making that swap. Lucio, but still, I don't think anybody can touch again. 56% on the objective. Big shift in strategy from the members of ETSU from what maybe SNHU have been seeing. That top left stack seemed difficult to break. They were finding the opening near the end in that focusing the objective and making them disengage, but double backline not holding away from the team at all and just hard engaging on the upper area really ended up punishing them. ETSU, if they run that same strategy on attack, though, it's possible to get stuffed in that doorway. See if they do run maybe that May instead to get those walls, or just rush right in with that Kree for that flash. Fan the hammer combo on any tank that might be holding close. We'll see what SNHU decide to bring to the table here. It's not going to be a Bastion, I'm going to tell you that right now. Unless they're playing for that hard hold on first point, which would actually make sense. But the only thing that's going to swap, again, for ETSU, will be a Bastion, actually. Interesting. Only thing that's going to swap for ETSU here is going to be their DPS, as they're both holding in this hero select, deciding what they want to play. I'm assuming we're going to see a hit scan from that first DPS from Burmu. Sketched has been a little more flexible. We've seen him play the Ashe. We've seen him play several other things. But SNHU are making a bit of a change. They're playing the Rhine. They're playing this upper area, and they're going to play Desi on an off angle on the Bastion. Could be punishable, but they're playing the Sim for TP. I like this flexibility from them. It's a unique strat. We'll see how it works for them and how ETSU swap to adapt to fight it, if it does end up working. But Desi not having a shield, really going to have to rely on bubbles or anything else to help them out here. So we're looking, here comes the stack up top. Desi gets bubbled immediately. That Rhine is knocked pretty low, but pinned off is Desi going to immediately take down that res. We'll have to get spent, but the soldier takes down him right away. Prince not able to get that res, but Pepto gets one kill, aiming for this second, misses the burst fire, so he has to reload. That's a lot of healing back for that soldier, but luckily they don't lose that second member. Rhino is kiting away to that low ground. All that CC from the Lucio from behind. Snoozy shoots him down. They set him up with Zach. Here comes the res, maybe. Did get it at the last second. Pepto has to be the one contesting here as Desi's in as well. Frag now also touching Zarya has to be priority number one as she is fairly high energy. They have some healing here. Knock the Rhine back. The Rhine is there and the drone will be there as well to keep that team alive even longer. Pepto gets pinned to the back of sight. That will be one swing for him, and no one else on SNHU is able to contest. Yumbani, it was a creative strategy from the beginning, but ETSU, their bread and butter is just very hard to deal with. They swap their DPSs, but they just walk at you. Their Rhine isolates you, and they find those picks. We'll see this little play of the game here. I have a feeling I know when this is. It's that final fight, that High Noon in the corner. We weren't able to see, but it found Rhino during that primal. Tough to adapt to that. Both players stuck up top, but a knock-in from Desi to try to touch, to try to delay. Unfortunately, not able to make it happen there near the end. Composition kind of countered out by what the members of ETSU were running, so difficult look for them. Maybe we see a swap up on strategy for the third map. It is a very different map, of course. Dorado, we'll see what lies ahead on there once we're done with this break. Map number 3 on the docket. We are heading into Dorado to close out this series. SNHU, of course, not able to take the win today, but we are still playing this final map out to determine map score, tiebreakers, and everything else moving forward in the future. East Tennessee State, if they swap things up, I would be surprised. This is a map that I think can kind of play into that Ryan Zarya, Lucio Bap style that they've been playing. They seem very comfortable with the combos. There's clearly a general build that they are comfortable with. Symmetra will be the interesting pick, I would say, here. With Ashe picked up by Bermu instead of that McCree May, which makes a lot more sense for this. I guess he just swapped it for the TP for the very intro, which is kind of interesting. It is defense, doesn't really matter, but good habit to be in if you are the projectile DPS for your team. SNHU running with Pseudo Brawl with Echo and Hanzo. Hanzo pretty good for taking some of those off angles on this map that will, I think, be very important here because not all the DPSs or players on ETSU can really contest that. It is kind of almost just the Lucio, the Zac, that can do it here. See how ETSU hold this, if they just spam or if they get a little bit more involved in this, but Osiren will be the one first to trade spam. Gotta care for those hit scans, though, of course. That Ashe in particular. Yeah, but Back can do a lot of damage to a Flying Echo as well, but our DPS are knocked low, and Ashe immediately takes him down. There's the Recon Bolt. A little bit of info. All it does is let them know that they're rotating out. They're rotating to this choke point. As Desi gets knocked very low, this Ashe relatively uncontested. This comp really can't contest with her, so this off angle is incredibly free at the moment. The player that can is the Hanzo, who is down and respawning. But they're getting shoved in main. Drone did get forced, though, from ETSU, so maybe they can follow up on it, but Rhino is very low, gonna need some help. Looks like he made it away. Osiren, I think he double conked over up top on the Junkrat, so he was able to flank, but the timing was rough. Rhino got knocked low, and they had to disengage, and they were waiting for their last player before they went in, so Osiren kind of giving it away. At the end of that one, we'll see how they take this off-angle pressure by Desi. I think it's smart here. Sees the Ashe. The Ashe does retreat, but this Lucio is doing a good job of pressuring this off-angle for the team. He's one of the only ones that can do it, so he's going to keep playing up there. You can see Zac fairly forward here as SNHU look for a pick past this Reinhardt shield, but they're playing their cover fairly well. Here comes the Mei wall, though. Will the engagement come in here? They should maybe be able to get out, but there's the pin and the blizzard. The disengage has to come in from SNHU. Will they be able to get away? Rhino only just barely doesn't make it out, but he'll be saved and will survive for this next one. That's a great ult to get out of the way, but they want to maybe engage with something. You could see a beat engage. They have a pick here, so maybe this is the time to move in, but they got to be worried about this shatter. Sponk has hit massive ones every single map so far. Here comes the grab. Will they shatter? In response, the shatter comes in from Sponk and stuns the majority of the backline. A ton of damage is coming in, but it's a huge drone from Frag, keeping everyone alive, but they have to get healed. They're still kind of low, can't even follow up on this grab because of that, and here comes the window to trade out more damage afterwards. You will have to back up and play this carefully, but they have faster respawns. They can move in pretty quickly, and the Ryan's not here. Shatter from Rhino knocks down 2. They're going to follow up on that, make it 3. Rhino picks them all up for himself as this Ashe is forced to disengage with that coach gun. Prince chases that one down for himself, and SNHU were able to take that choke, push it forward, and I don't think ETSU will be able to contest. Maybe the Ryan will move in, but he's showing himself in front in Museum. He knows they won't be able to move first point towards SNHU, but they won't have to deal with a Bob on the other side, unless this is a pretty solid tire from Osiren to kind of break that. But he's showing himself here, moving up top. They don't see Ashe here, so he's kind of uncontested. And I was just tiring on them. They have to see this, and they do. Ryan turns and blocks it. Not able to get much with it. Here comes the Bob knocking them up. They need to speed to disengage here, but they don't. They hold close to the choke, and now they're going to get completely chased and collapsed on here without a doubt. Pepto back off, has high energy. Here comes Lucio to try to chase him down. It's only Lucio, though. Maybe this could be a kill for them. They follow up on it. Saved by the boot by Prince, unfortunately. Zac will escape with his life. SNHU will reset and look for their next play. Dragon is up soon, and they have Window from Fragnar. Could see Window Fire Strike, maybe if they're continually grouped up. I'd love to see a call out like that to try to punish some of these squishies that are on the ground, but the players who will strike first will be ETSU. Here comes the grab. The drone saves them for a moment longer, and it's a 1-for-1 trade so far. Prince disengages, has the beat, can use it if things get south, and they kind of are right now. Members are fairly low. The beat does land from Prince, even though the Shatter has landed in response. Siren trying to peel for his teammate. Desi is in the middle of their team right now. Can't find any damage because of the drone. He gets one, though. Gets the damage on Snoozy for Rhino to clean up on. Random is taking a lot more from Desi. Will bubble, but it won't keep him alive for much longer. This cart will continue to move. Desi will move to take this high ground. And Snoo will keep up this pace and this pressure, but have to be careful. So there is no reason to be peeking at that HP. Desi does get healed eventually, luckily, and does get some traded damage, but great shots from Sketch to take down Fragnar. They're down their Baptiste, and the spawns are getting a little bit further away, but they have Grav and Dragon. Anytime you have Grav and Dragon, it's a winnable fight, but Osiris might have made that just a little bit tougher. Getting picked out up top. Here comes the Blizzard on them. They have the bubbles to get away, but look at this timing from it. Pepto will go down. No chance for Grav Drag now. So the members of Snoo will have to disengage. Frag maybe has a chance to shatter here. Rhino, excuse me, maybe has a chance to shatter, but he won't go for it. I think that's the smart play. They are brawling all the way into their spawn. Getting chased in. It was a great wall. Siren will likely fall here with this continual pressure and the swap to the D.Va, allowing them to remain this aggressive. 1 minute and 37 seconds left. The cart is relatively close. I want to see what Snoo choose to do here. Prince swaps to speed. This could be the moment to move, but they're not going to amp anything, of course, just yet. Shifting to the right side. The right side push to go take it behind them. They're not engaging them in that initial choke point. And they're actually doing a far high ground rotation. So this seems almost exclusively for Desi to be set up and maybe for another plan to happen. It looks like most of the members are up front. Here comes the shield. Where are they going here? Some members might be moving towards that objective. Siren kind of hiding. That could be a setup for a tire. Someone needs to move down and contest that card. I think Frag would actually be a great person to do that because he can jump back up at any time. Now the cart will start to move. So they have some information. They know they're not close. They know they're coming around the backside. Here comes the grab. Will Desi get the dragon forward? It doesn't get... Looks like he does spend it, but I don't think it was in the right spot. Triple shatter here. Drone will save them for another moment. The pin actually ends up right in the drone, but Osiren falls. Osiren, though, 2 with the tire, 1 with the martyrdom. The last laugh is going to be his with Spunk going down. They have 3 picks, and they will shove off of this, as of course they should. Might even kill this Baptiste if Pepto stays aggressive. Here comes D.Va towards this objective. Does she have self-destruct? She doesn't, so no value out of getting demeched here. Bob has to get knocked away. Rhino uses that shatter on the back. They get the mate down, but they only trade 1 life for it, actually, and it's Rhinos. The opposite of what you want to see here, but the Rhine goes down. This D.Va, this May, excuse me, has to die, and she does. They got the camp a little bit earlier, and these stagger kills will let them move even further forward, especially with that Baptiste accidentally missing his jump here. D.Va going to get demeched. This is the perfect time to stagger, and I hope they do. They do not. Desi cleans up that kill. D.Va is now fairly close to her nuke, her self-destruct. And that will be something that Snoo have to look out for in the next fight. But Blizzard and nuke could be a combo if they end up getting it pretty quickly. But they're going to be walking into a Grav Dragon, which, as we know, is one of the stronger ult combos in competitive Overwatch, or at least at this level. Desi getting bullied out pretty hard, though. Has to get healed by Frag as the members kind of sent away. The team is fairly split, so this could be a great engage by them if they go this way. But Desi's fighting instead of dragoning the gravity. Aims it wide. He goes to the right. He gets the D.Va at least out of it and trades 1 more. They could have guaranteed that tank kill. Luckily for them, the fight still does end up going their way. And that Lucio, who's alive, is not the healthiest at the moment. This card's getting close. Here comes Lucio from the spawn to contest that card. The Ash will go down first. Ryan swinging on card. 57%. Here's the beat from SNHU. They have to know that Shatter might be coming soon, though. This Shatter could actually turn it around. Here is Spunk with the Shatter. He's going to be looking forward. Rhino with a good reaction time block, even while in the Blizzard. Can he survive? Drone, make sure that can happen, even pinned out of it. He'll still live. Desi now back here, knocking them up and around. The CC will be very important. Rhino getting another kill, even though they lose another tire. Gets Snoozy trying to contest. Only 3 members alive still as they move in. Wall will slow down some healing, but not entirely deny it. There's still Lucio on the cart. Lucio goes down. They get 1 more. Who is still contesting? It's the Wrecking Ball. Wrecking Ball has to die as soon as possible. The rest of the members are stalling them in spawn here. This ball is half HP, and damage has to be getting onto him. They can't let him get this much. Rhino, though, shatters the rest. Spunk actually ended up stopping that one. They need to find damage on these tanks. Spunk is still alive somehow. Here's another drone, but a Bob buys even more time. This card still so dangerously close, but they have to burn down these tanks just a little bit faster, especially with this ball coming back in. 2 kills from the Ashe right now, a third from the Tracer. Grav comes in, but the shield is keeping them alive with Ashe staying in her scope on the other side of it, and somehow ETSU hold on. There's just not enough damage on the ball. Near the end, they stayed alive long enough. They had the ults at the right times. Stall comps are pretty powerful, especially when the spawn is right there. SNHU get it right to the precipice, but can't knock it over. Defense here up next for SNHU. On Dorado. Would expect to see something fairly similar. You spam them up top with your shields, then you retreat and engage in the choke point immediately after. Not necessarily a hard engage, but one to get your team to poke. Nonetheless, fully expect to see the exact same characters from ETSU. Again, they seem to have found their comp and they'll run with it, and it does work on the vast majority of maps that are being played here tonight. Hanzo will be a swap, so Grav Dragon is now on the table for ETSU. Only one not picked here, Sketched and Snoozy. Sketched has been the one that's been, I think, flexing the most on their team. So we'll see some stuff here, but one player has disconnected. Rhino, he was having some internet issues earlier, so the game will go to a pause. So I'm assuming try to find a way to get Rhino back in. I also don't see him. Oh, he is in the Discord, so maybe just restarting game. We'll see as time goes on what will happen next. But my wildest guess for ETSU, I mean, we're going to see a Baptiste. Snoozy has, I think, exclusively played BAP at this point. Will we see a Mei is the question. If Sketch will play that Mei or if he'll play something more traditional. He played a little bit of Tracer on that stall. He played some Ashe earlier. Seems to be a flexible enough player to kind of roll out with whatever he wants. The unpause is coming in now from SNHU. Rhino has reconnected. It will be Mei. Mei makes sense. I think there's some little tricks you can do with her to isolate someone that's holding the cart. If you stall it early enough, I hope SNHU realize this and maybe let that cart roll in a little bit further before contesting normally, so that if you get walled off, it's in an open area as opposed to in a really tightly enclosed area. We could also see some high ground shenanigans along the team up. I know everyone remembers that old school 2016 play where the team walled up and then surfed meta Athena, where they surfed on the roof to flank the enemy team. Don't expect to see anything like that here, but we will see something here. Here comes Lucio diving up to try to get a boop off. Doesn't find anybody, but they were ready to clean up on that. Someone is behind, actually. It's Osiren completely alone. Does he get away? It looks like he does, actually. I think he TP'd out, and he's going to be relatively safe unless Lucio chases him down. Siren back with his team now. Going to get rehealed, going to get some ult charge for his DPS, and now I would love to, for his tanks, excuse me, and I'd love to see them meet them here. Here they come. It was a little bit early of a wall. Drone keeps Rhino alive. A lot of healing here. Spunk is the first to fall. The Sketch going in. They want to shoot this Mei on the left side. They won't have drone, but they should have it up by the next time there's an actual fight, unless some of their players maybe overextend. Fragnar very forward, goes right past the shield. That was a miscall by the team. There's no reason to shove so hard in that choke point. Now only Lucio heals left for SNHU until Fragnar makes it all the way back. Rhino dangerously low. The heals will have to be amped, and no ultimates close for either team. Closest is going to be Snoozy on that Baptiste. Here comes that pressure. The wall doesn't end up connecting, but they do find Rhino even on the other side of it. Both tanks down. This card is very close, so they're going to have to completely disengage here. These walls are now pretty lethal. Well, Siren should probably just be able to TP out unless he doesn't have that cooldown. Frag keeping him alive. The moment will be a little bit longer, but Rhino moved up to heal the team. Shatter blocked by him, though, on this disengage. This would be a great time for a window for the team, but Osiren was on the flank with that Reaper. They kill 2. They lose 1 support here, so no speed, so they can't harass as badly. But they can reset and get ready for how they want to fight this next engagement here with Osiren on high. Behind them, wall doesn't connect from Sketched, but they have a Blizzard, and that's a fantastic engagement tool from them. Osiren on the flank is going to be someone to keep their eye on, but he's not really going to be close enough to the fight. His damage isn't there, and now they can just shove knowing that Reaper is MIA. Will they do that? Remains to be seen. They are shoving Rhino here. Grav comes in on them, beat in response by Prince. Do they have the combo? The combo is Blizzard, which kind of deals with them. They shatter it in response, and they get away with the bubble. Spunk does what he can. Shatter comes in now onto the backline, but he dies for it. Deathseed dropping down with the Storm Arrows, finding 2. Sketched knocked fairly low here. Are they going to grab to stay alive? They have frag for heals, so we don't need to. They hold on to it, actually. I think that's a good choice for this next fight as Pepto continues to bully them out. From this, 2 bars on Zach. Great wall actually on Frag. I liked that angle, but Frag, of course, is Baptiste. He's got the hops. He's going to be able to reset to the team. Go back to a relative stalemate with only this grab really to rely on here. It should come out soon. You see a couple members up front. They are walled off, so this is the time to pop it. Keep the team up. Drone is on them, though. They forced out that drone. Osiren comes in, and the Dragon finds Rhino. This fight is still winnable if they spend these ults once. This is over, but Pepto's too low to guarantee that. All those support ults were stacked up in the same spot, basically. Window and the beat really denying any chance for that. They have one more push here. It depends on if Osiren can stay alive. He gets knocked, chased out pretty hard, but they won't be able to make it back in time. They got to that corner and couldn't follow up any further. There goes Rhino. They grab on the side of ETSU, which is interesting. I hope I'm not expecting to see a Blossom here from Osiren, who's running away now. Will fall. That grab, not necessarily necessary, though. That was one of those kind of cleanups where your team just gets those kills anyway. So SNHU now will have a bit of an ult advantage in that sense moving in. They're going to have Grab Dragon with Desi coming up on his fairly soon. We'll see where they can move from here. They're playing this low corner, so they want to go to this card quickly. This angle means it's a quick fight. They're looking for some sort of combo. They can see that the Rhine is actually being comboed there, but they don't find anybody with the grab, it looks like, and the Shatter knocks a few of them down. Osiren got a good flank, picking off one and getting another one fairly low, but gets hit by the arrow on his attempt to escape. And now Fragnar wants to keep his team alive, but the damage is just very effective there. Fragnar will live for another moment. Desi barely being pocketed. Storm Arrow ends up finishing his life. Card is getting very close, 85.03, only 20 meters away at this point. We see Osiren going for the flank. Desi coming up on the Doomfist. They're going to have to go on the other side of that wall, maybe a little early. Blizzard hits on the point, but they're rotating on the other way. Interesting, tough timing for that one. They have the Diva now for survival. Dragon gets through as well. Who's getting hit by it? Nobody. They do get some contesting on the card, but they lose their main tank in the process here. Desi with a great kill onto the back line against Sketch, though. He has two people kind of isolated and kind of keeping them trapped out. Sponk overextends into the spawn, so he'll get picked off as well. Amping heals on the cart from Prince. Help his team live for a little bit longer. Here comes some aggression now from them. They lose their mech for it, but Prince ends up grouping them to relative safety as they disengage. Pepto probably should honestly swap out and back maybe, but he gets some good damage on the baby Diva, so he can probably hold on to it now as long as he connects a few more shots on that refight. They are moving to take this high ground from ETSU, and they will match them on SNHU, but it's a little slow, and now someone's isolated. Here comes the grab into them. Sponk ends up missing that one. Shatter doesn't end up coming out from Rhino. He's killed in the middle of the cast, and three people went to the card. Prince is walking there, but he gets shattered on the way. No one can make it, and ETSU run away. With the end of that, they had very decisive plays at the end. They took upper. As soon as SNHU saw it, they tried to rotate, but you can't react to a positional play like that. I think you just have to adapt from there more than anything. This is that stagger graph that got spent earlier that I don't think necessarily needed to be used, but if their goal was to get play of the game, I guess it accomplished exactly what they wanted it to do. ETSU walk away with this one 3-0, and they looked pretty good doing it. Their brawl, very well coordinated. I think there wasn't too many issues, I think, with the way that they engaged. I hear someone's getting a lot of votes in that end game screen. I got to hear that someone got an epic one at the very end, but they brawled, I think, fairly well. They were a little bit sloppy on the first map, I think, caught off guard by the strategy from SNHU, but otherwise, again, their combos were solid. They were decisive with their use of Blizzard. I think they were able to zone people with it sometimes. I think SNHU adapted as the game got a little bit further in. I think they had a good concept for what to do on that final map, Dorado. But after that stall, I think it was tougher for them to be able to hold at the very end, right? Maybe if they get to overtime, they can get that first hold that they thought was fairly effective and played around some of that corner at the start, some of that delay. Couldn't end up getting that, of course, thanks to the amazing stall from ETSU. Good games to them. SNHU continue to be unwinning in Overwatch, but I know the boys are grinding. They are going for it, and they're doing what they can to improve. Thank you, though, everybody, so much for tuning in. If you don't want to miss a single game of SNHU Esports, then make sure you follow us on Twitter. You'll get updates on every single one of our matches. Make sure you join us on Discord. We have game nights every Saturday at 7 o'clock, so you can be involved with the community and everybody else. And, of course, make sure you follow us on Twitch. That's another great way to get that idea. But on behalf of myself and Joe on the productions, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.